You're listening to the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club, Season 2. I'm Kylie.
And I'm Gina. Real moms, real anxiety, real conversations. Let's dive in because chaos is our cardio.
Welcome back to the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club, where we overthink everything so you don't have to. Today, we're talking fear because honestly, fear is like the messy friend who won't leave our house. It shows up, sits on the couch, eats our snacks, and triggers our anxiety.
Fear is wild because it doesn't even have to be logical. It can be something tiny, something from childhood, something we saw on TikTok at 2 a.m. and boom, anxiety activated.
Fear by itself isn't always bad. It's our brain's warning system. But when we let fear run the show, that's where anxiety builds. Like fear whispers, what if something bad happens? And anxiety jumps up like, say less. I'll imagine every scenario.
Exactly. Fear throws the first spark. Anxiety takes it and burns down the whole house. Fear is a moment. Anxiety is a story we tell ourselves around that moment.
For real. Fear asks, is this safe? Anxiety asks, what about the 47 million other things that could go wrong? So I love putting you on the spot.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
What's your biggest fear?
I'm full of fear.
You are.
I'm the most, don't have me watch a scary movie. I'll never sleep for weeks.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm scared. I scare easily. I'm fearful of everything. That's probably my worst downfall is fear. I'm not fearful of just like anything, somebody says, you're going to need to go up there and talk to these people about, I can, everybody has a nervous feeling. I'm not fearful, but fearful of like driving and it's nighttime and look at the woods and go to bed at night and are the doors all locked? And I'm just like fearful.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I get scared very easily.
We're prepping, what we're gonna talk about, and I say fear, and you're just like, okay. You don't
I
mention.
got plenty to talk about this because I'm scared to death.
I'm scared of everything.
Oh yeah, like that. It's probably I'm not somebody who should watch the news, scroll on crap that's gonna tell you the bad shit that's happened every night that we go to sleep while people are having all sorts of problems, the kids being taken, the stuff having to go to Target. Is somebody following you? Watch and make sure they're not. Are they walking out the door with you? Like somebody might be in the parking lot. Did you park next to a van?
Isn't that just cautious?
Yeah, but it's like, makes me like more than cautious. It makes me like fearful. Like something could happen. That could really happen. I just feel like, I don't know.
There are so many
get in my way.
There are so many different directions to run with this right now. Like surface level, petrified of snakes. Like.
Oh yeah. I don't want anything that can bite me, eat me, hurt me.
I can't. I'm petrified of snakes. Like,
yeah.
When I used to work in an office, like there was a guy that was like the big prankster and he put a fake snake in my, I will fucking fire you. Like, that's not funny. I don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I get fearful every time I walk under a tree. One's going to fall on my head. My mom had a huge one on like the wreath on her door. And now I can't, like, every time I walk through her front door, I walk full, like avoiding the tree or the wreath.
Yeah.
If you follow us on social, I have a robo vacuum. Mm-hmm. And did I already talk about this on a show, like a previous show? I can't remember, but it will throw an error if it runs over something and like it gets stuck.
Yeah, and it got a snake or something.
Yeah. And so normally it's like a sock or a ponytail or a cat toy or whatever. Yeah. And so it's no big deal. I just go flop the vacuum over. Mm-hmm. And so it threw an error and I went to flop the vacuum over and there was a freaking snake. I literally just ran out the house and I can't remember if I called my dad and he didn't answer. So then I called my mom to find my dad and he's like, just take it outside. And I'm like, no, I'm outside. It's inside. I need you to come down immediately. Yeah. And so then there's oh, goddamn. And then, I live a house down. So it's not like that far. But yes, I am an inconvenience on a regular basis. And so he came down and got the snake out. But like now every time the vacuum throws that alarm, petrified to turn it over, like petrified. But on a bigger, like on a deeper scale or a deeper level, like I fear things, and what keeps me up at night are like losing my parents. Like I will get paralyzed losing a child. Like those things come into my mind and like will paralyze me with fear.
Yes. Well, when I first had Austin, I had nightmares a lot for like a couple of years, a lot. And it was all the time, like people would sneak in my house and like do something to him, like murder him, bring him in with like, it was horrible. It was like horrifying, like horrible things all the time. So I've always had a lot of fears of something happening to my kids.
Yes.
I think that's the worst though. I think we always have fears of our family members, children, anything, something bad happening. You know, us losing them. Or the other thing is, I think when it comes to kids too, I think that's why, especially with like sex trafficking going on, you know what I mean? There's such a fear of somebody taking your kid. And at the time that Austin was actually around, I think around the age of like 10, it was like, I swear to God, all I ever kept hearing was the boys being taken. And I was petrified, like, oh my God, he's going to walk to school. He can't walk to school. There's no way. I was like, he's not walking to school because they're getting off the bus and they're getting snatched. And it was all the time. It seemed like it was boys. And so I went through some years during that where I was like, what if somebody takes him? And then it switched, I think, to feel about like more girls again. But there was like a phase and it was during that age time. And then that would just give me nightmares. And I wake up and it's not good because when I wake up at night, like I have to grab Tom and wake him up because I'm like, there's no way I can go back to sleep. I mean, I'm like a little kid who cannot go back to sleep because you had a bad nightmare. It's bad, like really bad. I hate it. I hate it. And I do think that, like, you know, lots of people have fears of like failing, being judged, not doing enough, all that type of stuff. Honest to God, like I'm not fearful of all that.
I'm just fearful of the boogeyman. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fear my kids when they drive. I mean, back to the sex trafficking thing, like I don't know. It's just so scary because it's so freaking real.
Yes.
And like, I feel like every day I read something on Facebook, like most recently I'm pretty sure it was in Alton. I mean, obviously you live close to St. Louis, you know, where I'm an hour out, like,
right.
And supposedly it's a sex trafficking hub and there are cars that like are, whether it's women driving alone or young kids driving alone or whatever it is, that they're coming up and riding your ass or getting you to pull over, you know, flashing lights and trying to get you to pull over like that. It freaks me out. Like it just freaks me out because one wrong move decision, walking out of a Ross store, mother, when you listen to this episode, not paying attention, looking at your receipt, seeing if like it could just happen so fast. And that scares the crap out of me because what do you do? I mean, I know we have tracking on phones. I know, you know, just recently because when Jerseyville had their county fair, somebody mentioned putting like an air tag in the kid's shoe. And now they sell soles of shoes that fit an air tag. And I'm like, oh my God, I would have never even thought of that.
Right.
But then there's also on the flip side of that, there's where creeps are dropping air tags on people to track them. Like when you're like it is.
Well, here's the problem. Some of the problems are like, is it really kind of a neat, like an air tag like that? And you can just toss it up and it goes right on their car and anywhere on it, and all these different things. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure somebody in certain ways came up with it for all the positive things.
And now there's some creepy fuckers that are using it.
Yes. So, and that's why I'm just I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like, if there's something on your car, I don't care if it's $100, you don't touch it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that like when I was a kid, it was, my mom would tell me when you walk up to your car, look underneath your car, look in your back seat before you get in. Okay?
Like right there in the parking lot, you're climbing underneath your car.
Well, no, you just have to be like, you know, as you're approaching, you got to see if there's somebody underneath it or somebody got in your back seat of your car. And because the big thing was at that time they'd cut your Achilles tendon, and then so that way you were all of a sudden you couldn't run or do anything, and then that's how they could get you. So that was like,
oh my God.
And I was just, I mean, I'm not kidding you. I always get pain, I think, in my Achilles when I would walk up to my car thinking about it. like if there's somebody in there. But she always would, just talk about checking, your vehicle for somebody being in it or underneath it. Well, now you have to be worried that they've tagged it. Well, that means now you have to pay more attention to even the passenger side. I mean, you must have to do a circular run around your car, make sure nobody did a twist tie or some shit on there. I mean, it's kind of crazy what you have to really look for and how, I don't know. And then on top of it, what's the most disgusting to me out of this all is how many women are involved in helping to find the girls and then sex traffic them. The whole thing just.
There's someone that I'm no longer friends with, but we were on a work trip to Las Vegas, and there was a guy and two women like sitting at the bar and like creepy watching us, like totally creepy watching us. And so we were in the store and like, of course, like one person, she checked out first and then I was checking out. And as I was like I had noticed, because I am very aware of my surroundings. I try to always be very, very aware of my surroundings. Now there are times where I'm not, because I'm like on one about something else and like going on a tangent about how Ross didn't give me a penny change because they're like, well, they don't make pennies anymore. So we round down and I had a real problem with that. I was like, I don't understand how this is all going to work. Anyway, so if I'm going on about a penny tangent, then I can see like somebody coming up and stabbing me and I wouldn't know any different. But moral of the story is I'm normally pretty well aware of my surroundings. She's given this motherfucker every detail about us. Yeah, we're here for work. We're from blah, 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 blah. We're all by ourselves. And I was like, and finally I just like turned around and grabbed her arm. I'm like, I'm sorry, we've got to go. We're meeting somebody. And like, you're right. The women that he was with, it was all like, I could tell. And I was like, my God, we could have ended up in a shipping container in an hour and you would have had no idea. We're here for work. We're all by ourselves in this big city, the week of Super Bowl. Like it was literally the year Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Super Bowl was Sunday and I'm in Vegas with just one other female. So people from all over the world, I literally had to say to her, do you realize we could have been in a shipping container in an hour? Because I mean, we then at random times throughout the night, we would see one or two or three of them. And like, they were trying to get us to come drink with them. Yeah. So they can roofie us and put us in a shipping container. Do you not understand? She's like, well, he was offering. I'm like, I don't care what he was offering. Like, don't ever. And so at that point, I realized that people are really unaware of like what's going on in the world and things around. Like, and another situation is, when we used to fly to Florida because our corporation was in Florida and everybody would fly in separately and then Uber to the hotel or the conference or whatever. And we actually had another area manager that her Uber ride
went. You talked about that before.
Her Uber ride went off of path and she ended up calling her husband, who called the police, and like, thank God everything turned out okay. But the type of company we worked for didn't even fucking notify us or be like, hey, someone was almost sex trafficked last week. Don't take an Uber from the airport by yourself. Like no notification, no anything. Like what? If she wouldn't have been paying attention. So like PSA.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. Make sure your Uber rides on the route they're supposed to be. And I saw something about that. I think it was a purse. Was it a purse chain? I don't know. We need to post some things on social media about how, but you always are supposed to sit behind your Uber driver, not like diagonal from them. But if you're in an Uber by yourself, you sit behind them. So if you need to choke them out with your purse, you can.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, there's a guy on TikTok that he was doing, I haven't seen it in a while, but he had put on a whole recording that you can actually like act like you're calling your boyfriend, and it was him, and he said exactly like, okay, no, well, where are you at? And okay, well, when are you going to get home? All right, I'm watching for you. Oh, I can see you en route, like all this stuff. So everything that to where it was like, so at least the person would think somebody knows, like they're paying attention. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about it too, is I think it's best to, I think it's a good idea to get on the phone with somebody and be able to be talking to them so that the person's knows that somebody else is very well aware that they are in the car with you, and you know what I mean? And I do like that on Uber that they have where you can send that to like I always have used it. I send it to my husband so he can track me. And I think that it is a good, especially if you're by yourself, just talk to, a friend, a spouse or whatever, while you're Ubering so that they know that you're talking to somebody. You know what I mean? Because I think that makes a huge difference for safety. They're not going to take somebody who's just lollygagging, not paying attention, looking at Facebook, ignoring what's going on. And I think that's the big thing about social media that's become to their advantage is we just are, when we're bored and we're not talking to anybody, what do? We scroll, looking at just to entertain ourselves. We are completely not paying attention to our surroundings. And I think that it's important that everybody realizes that the phone's a great thing and there's a time and place to be on it. And it's not when you're getting in to be Uber driven around.
No kidding.
It's not when you're walking out of the Target parking lot. It's not when, there are times just put your phone down, put it in your purse, get yourself settled and get out and you can scroll on it later. It's plenty of hours in a day to sit and scroll and look at all your fun stuff. But it's not when you're walking around. I mean, there's been times they've shown like girls, young girls, they're got their headphones on and they got their phone in hand and they're scrolling. And the next thing you know, a guy just comes up and stabs them. It's because they're unaware. And by the time it hits them, they're being taken. I mean, they're not fighting back. Their brain hasn't caught up with what's going on, so it's scary.
It is scary. I definitely, these are conversations that I want to have with Wyatt and Nora, especially. Wyatt will be driving. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. And he thinks he's such a badass. And I think he's such a badass in lots of different ways. But like, kid, you couldn't protect yourself. I wonder if there needs to be a family. We need to have a family. We need to take a class.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I already have been looking into having Kylie take a self-defense class because I just look at it as, at least you have a better chance. There's several different things. Obviously, they always go after somebody who they feel has less confidence. They can kind of like, there's certain signs, like they go to somebody, they use empathy. A lot of times they'll be like, oh, let me talk to you about my sad story. And then the girl that's the most empathetic and will stop to help is the, more of a target. You at least have to be that you are paying attention. Then a lot of times you're not as apt to, but at least even if you still are put in that position, you have ways to get out of that.
For sure.
Like my mom would talk about how you pop somebody's eyeballs out. Like if somebody was, you know what I mean? Which just totally grosses me out. But believe me, I will poke your eyeballs out.
How do you pop
you
someone's
thumbs? You put your thumbs like right on the tops of their cheeks, and then you like dig in and pop it out. Oh yeah, like get on top of me, people, and I'm gonna pop your eyeballs out.
You're tiny but mighty.
Oh yes, them eyeballs will pop right out. And what do you think the guy's gonna do then? He might be worried about his eyeballs.
That's probably why it's better. That's why I like being heavier set. Good luck, motherfuckers. Good luck. I'll take you down. Back to the scrolling thing. I watched a movie last night and it was it was just adorable. I don't know if you've ever seen Virgin River.
No.
On Netflix, but it's Alexandria Breckenridge is the main actor, and she's the main actor in this movie. It's called My Secret Santa, and it's just adorable because she pretends to be Santa, and the reason she does pretend to be Santa, it obviously is spelled out in the movies. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but adorable. But do you know that I had to restart the movie 4 times because I don't know, I was texting, I was working on
so you'd miss stuff.
Yeah, and I literally had to restart it 4 times because I just got we are featured on Yell STL, an app, and our podcast is featured on Yell STL, and I had gotten on there and we didn't have a cover photo and it only said 7 episodes. I'm like, oh no, we're on like 28. So we were going back and forth and trying to get that updated, and then I was just scrolling 4 times. I had to restart this movie because I'm like, wait, where is she? What is happening? Who are you? Like, it's ridiculous. So definitely paying attention to surroundings is something that
people need to do
better.
Be self-aware.
Absolutely. Yes. And, I think there's something to be said too, that where I had mentioned earlier, like fear is our brain's warning system. So like following our gut too, like if something feels off, it probably is. I don't know. It's hard because you don't want to live your whole life in fear. So you don't do things, or you don't travel, or you don't go anywhere by yourself because. And
I am seriously somebody who could take my mind of anxiety to that point where I was just like, yeah, I don't need to go anywhere. Bad things happen there. Forget it. Oh, did you hear the story over here? Don't need to go there either. It would not take much for me to be like, yeah, I think I'm not going to go anywhere. And so I have to, I think it is, fear can definitely take life away from you easily.
Absolutely. But sometimes it's for good. What was going through my head when I was just staring at you is I've seen so many times moms say like, oh no, I'm a stay-at-home mom because I fear sending my kid to daycare. And we've talked about that before. And like just a simple fear can really, truly alter the course of your life because, and for good reason, we should be fearful for our kids. And
right. And you have to be protective and you got to pay attention and be smart. But we don't want to be fearful to the point where that we don't allow anything to happen either.
That's right. Yeah.
To allow life to happen to some degree, you have to be open to it. And I think that's the biggest thing, like for me, like I have to like, the fear comes in, then I have to kind of back up. Actually, like my husband's a worrywart. Like he's tough about everything. I mean, believe me, if I was in a situation, he will protect me 100% and he'll be not fearful in those moments. But yet at the same time, he's always like the one who'll be, where are the kids going? Well, I'm worried about this. Well, what if this? What if that? You know what I mean? And then that makes me worse because if he wasn't saying all this stuff to me, I wouldn't be as fearful as I am about some of the stuff. I'd be like, maybe we shouldn't go there then. But I do think you have to definitely, that just truly triggers that bad anxiety that can take us over and create many problems and make life be not as fulfilled as it should be.
Man, so I text you this week actually because of some stuff you had going on, but I saw it on a church sign and I've probably talked about it before, but it said, I don't know, I was having a bad day coming home from work, but it said, worrying is like praying for something bad to happen. And I text you that this week, like your mind can take you to places and that's overthinking too. Like overthinking is so exhausting because you've played out every what if scenario and worst case scenario that will probably never happen. And like the energy drain that has on you of playing out 192 things that will never, ever, ever happen. But it's just the what if game. I don't know if it was a TV show or a movie or it might have been This Is Us that they used to play like worst case scenario. So like if they were worried about something, they would be like, okay, give me your worst case scenario. And they would come up with the most off the wall, crazy things. But they're like, okay, worst case scenario is like I die in a car accident and blah, 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 blah. And that's how they kind of worked through that. When they were worrying or overthinking or different things, they're like, okay, what's worst case scenario? And so I've actually used that from time to time to be like, okay, worst case scenario. And it's not that bad. So then I can kind of like move on from it and get so little like tips and tricks like that. I think that is
good
helpful
for a lot of things. I think the only time, like with my worry that I had that we talked about, ended in a really bad result. So my worst case scenario was my worst nightmare in certain ways, right? But at the same time, I mean, it does help for somebody just to remind you. It's like the worrying isn't gonna make it better. It doesn't make anything go away. And I think also like this is where like if I get too bad, my dad always gets in my head because my dad's like everything's positive, everything's great. It's a great day. I'm like it's. Like there's a freaking tornado coming at us. It'll be fine. We're a tough family. We'll be good. We'll take care of each other. I mean, like it's always things are going to be just fine. No matter what happens bad, that we're a family and we will always be a strong family. We'll always move forward. So he's just always, I mean, when he worked a lot of hours, he would just like clap his hands and rub them together and say, it's going to be a great day. And I'd be like, you're going to work like 15, 16 hours a day. Why do you always say that? And he's like, well, you got to tell yourself it's going to be a great day or it won't be. So I feel like that's the thing is too. When I get to worrying, I try to get some of that positive cheerleader stuff going in my head, and it helped when you said to me, it's like worrying about like what you're worrying about is like almost
asking for it to happen.
Yes, like, and then I thought, oh my God, I have to stop worrying because then it's going to make it happen.
That's what anxiety does to you. Okay, right now, stop worrying about this because then it will come to fruition and then we're going to, no, it's for real.
And then you're going, I'm not going to have a panic attack.
I know, but thinking about that very specific or that scenario, I kind of did play like worst case scenario with you.
Right.
And we kind of.
Right. And we even worked through that to where it's like, even worst case scenario, we have a good situation to help us through that worst case scenario. So
I was good.
You were good.
I was good.
You were good. I'll give you one.
Gina 150, Kylie 1. That is so funny. Oh man. But yeah, the fear creeps in, the anxiety creeps in, and it all
kind of comes together. And I think that's the thing, is that we have to, for sure, definitely, I think this is why, as we talk about anxiety and the problems and the issues, there are so many things that can spark that anxiety, and it really comes down to the tools that we use to help us to get through the anxiety that it creates. So whether that's created by fear or something else, it always leads back to anxiety and getting your mind straight and looking toward and making sure you have your village of people, you have if you meditate, or, there's lots of people who do a lot of different things to calm their mind. Bilateral music, as we've talked about before. People should relax sometimes in the day and do those things. Definitely can help us so that we don't get out of control. But I do think that, my fears are more not, like I said.
Someone's going to walk out of the woods and
someone's going to come out and kill me.
And mine are someone's going to meet an untimely.
I don't like anything that flies. I hate anything that flies. And it's not like, it's a fear, like if it's a bee, I don't know which way it's coming at me. And then it just freaks me out. And so Tom gets mad at me. I don't care about spiders so much. I'll be like, ew, they're gross, but I'm not fearful of a spider. It fly at me. That thing goes zoom, and then you're like, where'd it go? Zoom, and it's back again. Zoom, and it's in your face. You're like, oh my God, I swear to God, it's going to get me.
I fear that my children are going to meet an untimely death, and Gina fears bees.
Wasps, they'll get you too. Anything with a little stinger on the end, I don't want anything to do with. I don't even know if I'm allergic to it. What if I get stung by it? Now I have it. I've always been going. I
literally just got goosebumps all over my body because stings.
Oh, no. I'm scared of what it'll feel like, and I'm scared of what it'll do to me.
I can almost feel it, like getting stung by a bee, or I feel like the last time I got stung by a bee, I stepped on it, like in grass or something. But I tried to explain to Nora.
That's why I don't go out barefoot in grass. Hello, there's bugs, bees, things that sting you or bite you.
Nora was helping me clean, and she must have hit a wasp's nest with a paper towel. And she came in, she's like, something got me. And I could see the spot on her face. And she's like, I can't explain the feeling. I was like, it's like Casper running through your veins. It's like something takes, you can almost feel it. It's so.
I've never been stung.
You've never been stung?
No, that's why I'm scared to death. I've never been stung, and I don't want to be.
Oh my gosh.
No, no. I'm not kidding you. When that thing, when they go zing, zing.
How have you lived on this earth for so long?
You're going to wish it about me to be stung next week.
Good thing it's winter. You've never been stung.
No. And I don't want to be.
Oh, man.
I'll probably blow up like a blowfish and won't be able to breathe or something. That's what I'm scared to. That's
no, that's for real though.
It is for real. That's why I'm telling you. I don't want to, and I'll be in the emergency room and it'll be crazy. And no.
If you make it there, I've seen people drop dead because
okay, see now you just made it worse.
No, for real, young, healthy, people that go into anaphylactic shock and then they don't know. Dude, I have a bottle of liquid Benadryl ever since. I swear it's because of the freaking COVID shot. I'm not kidding. I've always been a sensitive soul, but also sensitive to everything. I have a sulfa allergy. I have a Raglan allergy. I have lots of allergies, right? But I'd taken amoxicillin my entire freaking life, and I took one or started a dose of antibiotics, and I called my mom. I'm like, something's not right. And I'm telling you, within minutes, I felt like I couldn't breathe. It was insane. And it was my first encounter with Epi, which reminds me, I need to call my doctor. I'm convinced I need to have an EpiPen on hand because luckily my brother had one.
Would be crazy.
Luckily my brother had one, and it was the first time, but I could legit. And I think what happens is, you're like, it's just a bee, and you don't realize, but allergic reaction is an allergic reaction, so it could
cause major
close
problems.
Your throat, and
it's gonna hurt.
You drop dead.
It's gonna cause major problems.
But liquid Benadryl too, and so.
Well, I will tell you, children's liquid Benadryl, knock you on your butt way faster than anything adult. So I always prefer the children's. Go straight in there.
Yeah,
and then get you.
So having a bottle of Benadryl is so that's one of my fears.
I've Benadryl around because I'm not kidding you. I've had allergic reactions with stuff that doesn't even make sense, or you can't figure out, and it just happens.
Well, I was literally like, what the hell? And then penicillin, like I'm allergic to so many things. It's like, what can I even take? Mm-hmm. And then my mom, who worked in a pharmacy for a long time, I don't even remember what it was, but like they could have also counted something on the tray, like prior to. So like, am I really allergic to amoxicillin, or like, did they count something else that I was like, I'm going to try and find out.
Like, exactly.
Not happening.
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess that's another fear you can add is dying of anaphylactic shock. And we both watched recently, All Her Fault. And she killed, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. She killed her husband by kissing him. She ate peanuts because he had a peanut allergy, and then she killed him by kissing him.
Genius.
I know, but
yeah, but that's scary. That's the type of stuff. It's just scary, like all those different things, types of things. You know, I don't know. That's why I've never been stung. I better never get stung. That's why, like, if I have a soda can and I'm going to be outside. Oh no! You know how many times I've heard people say the bee got into their soda and then they went to take a drink and no. So I buy those like little plastic guards that go over it, and then you pop the top and you drink the soda and put it back down. No bee is getting into my soda for me to then zing into my mouth.
Can you give me one of those? Because my dad one time drank a soda tab, like the tab on top of a soda of a beer can. God.
I love those things. They're great though. You just close that puppy right up.
Well, then nobody can roofie you either.
Make it into bottles.
Nobody can roofie you either.
No. Just like that's the other thing is that women, there's a lot of different things they now make for you to put over your drink. So if you go to a bar, you put it over your drink so that way that nobody can roofie you.
That's
cover
scary.
Your cup and stuff like that. It is very scary. You got to be careful. And I remember when I was younger, it was Long Island iced teas. You just didn't get one at the bar because that was what everybody wanted to roofie at the time. It was a Long Island iced tea. I never drank them, so it didn't matter.
Did you ever have a Long Island iced tea? When I was in college, Applebee's would have like $5 Long Island iced tea nights, and you would get fucked up in like 2. It was like the greatest thing ever. So it's like
probably because you were roofied and you didn't know it. I feel so good.
No, but yes, it's true. I spend a lot of time watching TV and watching on social and looking at social media. But I did just also see a story that was she a teacher? I don't know. See, I know that sometimes when you guys listen to this podcast, you're like, this bitch does not know what she's talking about. And it is absolutely 100% true. Like, I said Brad had been sober for a very, very long time. He's like, it's only been 6 months. And I'm like, should I correct that? Or will people even notice? But anyway, I think it was like one margarita, but somehow it got mixed with chemical cleaner.
Oh.
And she spent like a year, like the worst year of her life trying to like fight it and figure out what was wrong. And she just recently died.
What?
Because somebody that didn't speak English mixed the wrong thing in like her margarita.
Oh my God.
It could have been a Long Island iced tea and I could have no idea what I'm talking about. That's the disclaimer I'm giving. But for real, like that. So as social media can help, it can also harm, because sometimes I don't even think about it. Like, do you wear gloves when you pump gas? Because I've seen.
Oh yeah. That's why you should always, after you pump gas, think of how many people have
wear gloves when you pump gas?
No, I don't. But I have hand sanitizers a lot of times that I put on. And my daughter even carries them in her purse and stuff like that. Just because there's so many things that you can get off of that. A million things you get off of it, just germs wise. And then you take in the fact that people have put other stuff to like make you pass out. Or that's why they put it. If you put $100 on your windshield, you don't touch it. Somebody's put some stuff on it and make you knock out.
Man.
Yeah.
Just living it. So
I can talk about fears for stuff forever. I'm telling you, that's my biggest problem is I'm fearful. Very, very fearful.
Didn't even know. So how do we break the fear anxiety loop? Let's talk about solutions, because the goal of the podcast is not to live terrified forever. We can't. We wouldn't live a life if we lived terrified. So what are some things? How can we break the fear anxiety loop?
First, I think you have to name the fear.
Yes, absolutely. But we would be here for a very long time, because I just learned in the last 30 minutes that my co-host is afraid of everything.
I am. So yes. So I think that, realistically though, if you if you don't name the fear, though, you can't heal what you refuse to acknowledge. And I think that's true just because, just like when I was fearful and was talking to you this week and you talking about worrying and all that kind of stuff, I have to acknowledge what's bothering me, and then you gotta move on.
We're going to start playing worst case scenario
games. Yes.
And then if anything, it's so dramatic because I'm always dramatic that it makes us laugh and then we just move on because, And
I'm that's the thing for me, laughing is healing.
Yes.
Laughing is healing. I mean, I really do feel like, there's been a lot of talk about it actually, even a lot lately. I've even noticed, and I've always felt this way, but even when you talk about happiness or anything, you have to create happiness. Somebody else doesn't create it for you. An item doesn't create it for you. You create your own happiness. And so I turn anything that's negative into happiness somehow, or laugh it off, or laugh about something about it. You got to find something and a way to deal with it. And it's the same for fear. I might be scared of that bee, but we could be laughing while I'm scared to death.
And then it'll fly in your mouth and you'll the worst case scenario is we're laughing. Right. We're having a good time. We're laughing, but it flies in your mouth and you die of anaphylactic shock. But I have a bottle of liquid Benadryl.
Right. So we're fine. We're fine. Covered.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think you need to ask yourself, like when we're in these scenarios, is this fear or is this anxiety exaggerating the fear?
Because there is a difference.
There is a difference.
For sure. And I think you got to bring the fear into the present moment, because fear lives in the future. Anxiety loves the future. We always worry about what's coming next, what's going to happen, what's worst case scenario. Right.
My mom put a fear in me because she's like, we were talking about, and I think I mentioned this too, replacing the siding on our house. And she was like, what if I don't like it? I had to live with this for 30 years, but I'm not even going to live that long. So what do I care? And then I was like, oh my God, she's not going to live that long. And like, what happens to her house? And like, what? Oh my God, what am I going to do? Like the spiral is real. The spiral is real. So we've got to interrupt the story. Fear gives you a sentence. Anxiety turns it into a whole damn novel. So we've got to stop the novel, close the book.
Yes.
Calm the fuck down.
You also have to build evidence against the fear. So you survived 100% of your worst days so far. It's not just a quote. It is literal data.
That is damn straight. We have 100% of them.
Yes.
Micro bravery. Do tiny brave things daily. Tiny bravery reduces giant fear.
And I think that's the thing about anybody with anxiety or anything, especially if you find yourself truly spiraling in anxiety and can't get out of it. I think it is through tiny things. You always have to take the little steps. It's never going to be like, I'm going to get from 1 to 100 overnight. It's going to happen small increments. Just like when we talked about money. Everything's about the little wins. And I also think you got to talk it out. I think if you're not talking it out, that's a problem. Fear grows more in silence, and anxiety loves isolation. So make sure you're saying it out loud. Usually loses half its power instantly just from saying it. Even if you say it to the mirror to yourself. You gotta say it out loud.
Normally I'll type the text to you and then I'll erase it and be like, that's fucking dumb. And that's what she's going to tell you. This is fucking dumb and stop being ridiculous. So just get rid of it. If you're listening and you're thinking, my fears feel huge, that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human and you've been protecting yourself the best way you know how.
Fear doesn't mean you're weak. It means you care, but caring shouldn't cost you your peace.
All right, friends. This episode of the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club has been your reminder that fear is loud, but you can be louder.
And your anxiety brain, she means well. She's just dramatic. We love her, but we're also not letting her run the show anymore.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of this village. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a review.
And if this episode hit home, send it to someone who needs it. We'll see you next week.
If no one's told you lately, let me be the one to say it. You're not failing, you're growing. You're not broken, you're becoming. And you're doing better than you think. Thanks for being here today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love if you'd subscribe, leave a review, or share it with another mom who might need to hear this. You can also connect with us on Facebook or TikTok at the ARMC. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, give yourself grace, breathe deep, and remember, peace is possible.